So you do these ones once a month, the Panther City?
Yeah, starting with you.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna try to do like two a month that are Zooms. Just because I think we'll get this gives us the opportunity to actually like talk and focus
Mhm.
on one subject versus trying to bounce around to 30 different people.
Yes.
So that's the idea anyway.
And also, and showcasing somebody from the community, like local,
Yep,
it's better than, meeting at a bar and then you can really hear each other.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yay. Okay, so uh Troy already knows the basics of co-living. Troy, I don't know Troy, but we're gonna assume that he's totally new, right?
There you
The main reason of why co-living works is because affordable housing, right? Rents have gone up so much that most of the people cannot qualify for an apartment or a studio, right? Let's say if a studio is $1,200 a month or an apartment is $1,200 a month, you need to make at least 3,600 or more a month to qualify, right? So what happens with the single people who do not reach that threshold? Where do they go? Right? And that's
go.
why co-living is a good option for them because when they rent rooms with us, they're paying 700, 750, maybe 800. For a private bathroom, of course, they're going to pay a little bit more. But with that, uh, they can still have their own independence, right? They can move out of their parents' basements, out of their parents' couch. They don't have to crash with a friend. And at the same time, they don't have the problem of like, oh, I'm going to rent an apartment with my friend. And my friend, what if my friend gets a girlfriend and he leaves? Then I cannot afford the apartment, right? What if that happens and then I'm just like I have to get out of the apartment and I get an eviction, right? Because I have to break the lease.
Mhm.
So that's why co-living becomes important because now we're providing housing to a lot of people who cannot traditionally qualify for it. The second biggest option is because the second biggest pro of co-living is that you do not have to sign a long-term lease, right? That's going to depend landlord by landlord. But if you want to rent to somebody for 3 months, you can do it. You don't have to make them sign a 1 year lease. They can sign a month-to-month lease, a 3 month lease, a 6 month lease. They can do whatever you want them to do, right? And then co-living is pretty basic. It's pretty much we're adding rooms to a regular single family house, and then we have them share most of the bathrooms, the kitchen, the common areas, the living room. Depending on what type of finishing you want to have, some people convert the garages into like a gaming area or like a second living room where they put a TV and they want people to hang out. Uh, we usually don't do that. We just keep the house as simple as possible. We do put a dining area there. I am a believer of having at least one common area. It doesn't have to be a big living room or a very fancy space, but at least one couch, or if you don't want to do couches, you can do a love seat or a few recliners and a few chairs so that people can get out of the room. Sometimes you just don't want to be in your room, right? You just had a bad cold. You want to sit on the living room and just stare at the wall or whatever. And then that's for question number one. Do you guys have any questions about that so far?
And if you guys want to, you can put your questions in the chat too. So typically, I guess, like if we go to like ba very basics, man, when you're looking at like a traditional house and you're going to convert it, like what's like your minimum, like as far as bed bath count?
As far as bed bath count, minimum, I would say at least a 3-2. You want to have at least two bathrooms because always bathrooms are expensive,
Sure.
right? The rule is like you want to start with at least 7 rooms to cash flow.
Really?
With
Okay.
6 rooms is going to be really hard, and that is because the prices. Let's just talk about our market, right? DFW. The prices in our market, it's going to be really hard to find a house where the PITI is below 2,500.
Hmm.
You can find a really nice house for 22, 1,800, but we are buying bigger houses, right? We're buying houses that are corner lots, 2,000 square feet plus. So those houses are not in the 250, 220 range. They're most of the time going to be around the 300,000 range. So those PITIs are around 25, 2,600. So let's say if you're charging a tenant $800 a month, right? And you have 7 rooms, what is that? 5,600, right? Then we subtract the PITI of 2,600. That leaves us with what?
About
3,000?
yeah.
right? Usually operational expenses is going to be around 1,200. That is electricity, water, trash, gas, your cleaner, internet, pest control. So that's another 1,200. That leaves us with a net of around 1,800. And then you can decide if you want to do property management or if you want to manage this yourself. If you want to do property management within the most common fee for non-pass split managers is around 16%, 16, 17%, right? If you go with pass split plus property management on top, you're gonna be around the same, 15 to 16%. So that will be another what six, 750, 800 a month. So that
Mhm.
leaves the investor with a net of 1,000. And I think that should be our minimum goal to at least net 1,000 per house, given all the problems that you're gonna get into these.
All right. And so like when you say that like problems, obviously like you have your typical issues with a house that you would have with any kind of rental. Are there any specific things that you've run into that have been like a cautionary tale of like watch out for this with tenants and stuff like that?
Based on the tenant relationship, yes, but I just heard more horror stories than what I have been through.
Good.
A lot of my horror stories have been more like, hey, the roommate upstairs got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and they have having sex all day. Like we can't sleep,
Wow.
right? That's an easy conversation because sometimes people don't know. Like, hey, you're
Sure.
being way too loud, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Some people don't pay attention to that thing.
Sure.
We've had another incident when one of the tenants, it was a newer tenant, told the other guys in the house, "Hey guys, I know it's a no guest, no visits, but my brother is coming out to visit from out of town, and I have a big room with a private bathroom, so he's gonna stay with me for a week." And then that house had their own Christmas gathering, and the guys called me around January 10th. It's like, "Hey, this guy Reggie, he's still here. He was supposed to stay for a week." And like, who the hell is Reggie, bro?
Right.
He's like the guy upstairs, but we haven't really seen the guy upstairs neither. So I was like, oh my God. So he leaves the room. He brought his friend. His friend kicked him out. And now we have a squatter upstairs, right? And then when this guy, the guy who rented my room, left, we can see in the camera that he took all the mail, right? So he leaves the house at 4:32 in the morning. And at 4:45, one of the other tenants' credit card, it is swiped at an ATM down the road at a 7-Eleven.
Dang.
So we gave all his information to the detective, and he got arrested because
Hmm.
it is a federal offense to open someone else's mail.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Not just the stealing, but opening the mail is the big one.
Hmm. It's insane.
So that could be a house buster, man, like where everybody gets scared, and if you don't handle it on time, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm out."
Sure.
And you know, those things you can't really prepare for. You just learn from other people and just follow your rules.
Is
But
it
as far
typically
as
month to month that you go?
Yes, so I've tried different things. When I barely started, it was like 6 months to 1 year, which is slow a little down the process. Then I switched to month because I wanted to scale quickly, right? The problem
Hmm.
with month to month is that I know for sure some people only want to stay 3 months because they're coming from out of town,
Right.
right? It's not that my house is the problem; it's just they have a job here for the time or they have an internship, and then I will have another turnover. So once I reach 10 properties within a year, I was like, okay, I need to stabilize the portfolio. All the people that were month to month, either you sign a 1 year lease or you can go find another place to live. Right? A lot of them, the ones that were local, signed the leases because they already like the house. They know the housemates,
Sure.
right? I think the most important part of co-living is having a reliable person in charge, whether that is you or that is management. You cannot just rely on a BA to handle everything, right?
Right.
So even if your property manager is using somebody from the Philippines or Egypt or whatever, you have to make sure that the manager has the experience and the knowledge to step in when it is necessary, right? Sometimes it is just necessary. You need to get in there and be like, you don't have to go to the house, but you have to make a decision, right? Like, okay, this is like we have a squatter, like, and the squatter paid rent that month. But anyways, we don't know him, right? And it's like this guy, the one that rent the room left around December 29th, and then this guy pay rent on the first. He's living there, so we need to get him out because I didn't do a background check of him.
Yeah, right.
Right? Turns out that guy had just gotten out of prison, right? And then his friend, his buddy, was letting him crash with him for a week. And then he got out of prison and he kicked out the buddy, right? He's like, you need to get out of here. I'm not leaving. I have nowhere else to go. So the guy who gave him the hand, he was like, I'm done.
Hmm. So he left.
He left. So our tenant
Wow.
left,
Right.
and then he left the friend upstairs, right?
I mean, at
We have
least he took
another
a
one.
rent.
We have another one that there was one room where our outside security cameras. That's like a, the dead angle where the cameras don't really reach. It's a small
Mhm.
window. That happens to be the window of one of the guys' room, and he was sneaking out his girlfriend through the window, right? And turns out later that she's been living in the house for like a month.
Wow.
Like she was getting. We have a camera in the common areas in the kitchen. She
Yeah.
was only leaving the room at 3 a.m. So she would cook at 3 a.m., do the laundry at 3 a.m. while everybody's sleeping, and then by 5:36 she goes back to the room with a lot of food, a lot of stuff.
Then you've got stories, man. That's
And,
for
and
sure.
those are little things that you don't notice, right? Because there
Right.
is no complaints.
Right. Yeah.
Even
Nobody's
if
gonna
I
say.
go to the house, like I go at 11 a.m., 12, I don't go at 3 a.m.
No. Right.
until. But once you hear something, you have to check everything. That's
Yeah.
what I train my team. I'm like, no, no stone unturned. We turn everything. We need to find it, right? Usually people don't complain for nothing.
Right. And so you have, how big is your team that like, and well, I guess, I mean, how many properties are you managing at this point, and like, how big is your team?
So I have 10 right now. So it's
Really?
every,
Okay.
every 4 rooms.
Wow. And so you have 10 people that are working for you?
No, 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 no. I have 10 properties, 84
Uh-huh.
rooms, and it's just me and my assistant. Well, it was she was let go at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Because what I did is like I scaled quickly to 10 and then I trained somebody to follow my SOPs to see if my SOPs are bulletproof. And then
Hmm.
after that, I just stay home refining that, doing a lot of construction for other people because I want to make sure that eventually I don't want to deal with this day to day,
Yeah,
right? But
sure.
I wanted to make sure what I wrote, what I did, the systems that I built that can be followed by either somebody that I hire or eventually when I jump into coaching that can be replicated.
Hmm.
Right? So I tweak a lot of styles because basically I just sent her a bunch of videos and SOPs, and she was able to follow it. The problem with that is the tenant acquisition because I allow her to do the month to month. So because she has an incentive for keeping the houses full, right?
Hmm.
She was getting only people month to month, and then we started having constant turnovers. Then the turnovers were not caused by us because I was like, okay, it's normal. She's not gonna do it like me 100%, right? That's part of being a business owner. I'm always gonna do it better than anybody else. I had to be okay with 80%. And he was fine the first 4 or 5 months, and then we start having all these turnovers. And it's like, what happened? What happened? I was like, oh well, they came for an internship during the summer, and it just happened to be a lot of internships, right? So people by August, September, they were leaving. We lost like 10 tenants at that time. And then what happened to this person? Oh, the same thing. They're going to go to school until November. Their lease ends between November and December. That's the slowest month because it is Thanksgiving going into the holidays, right? So I had to adjust that, and now I stabilize the portfolio again by myself, and I realized like I can really run it myself. Like maybe I spend 2 hours a week doing co-living,
Okay.
right? It's not as demanding as people say.
That's awesome, man. So what's the you brought it up, but like what's the construction piece like? Like I guess once you buy, is that a big to do? And I guess what does your lending look like in that regard?
My lending or the construction process.
I guess a little bit of both. So I guess what do you typically do in your construction process, and how are you finding financing specifically?
Okay, so all my portfolio is creative finance so far,
Okay. Cool.
right? So everything has been sub to seller finance or a hybrid,
Hmm.
where I bring a private money partner. I have not spent any of my money on the properties yet. So I bring a private money partner with the funds for closing the deal and for the rehab.
Okay.
And because they bring all the capital, they are awarded 50% of the property. So we split everything down the middle.
Okay.
And
And is your construction like completely permanent when you build that?
no,
Okay.
no
Cool.
construction is permanent. And that is something I kind of butt heads with a lot of people, other property managers doing at a scale. And I try to explain to investors like, look, the only person that benefits from doing an 11 room, 5 bedrooms when your house was originally a 3-2 is the person getting the construction done and the person who's going to do the management,
Mm.
right? Because eventually you have to tear it down,
Hmm.
right? And I was like, you're going to have a lot more turnovers. Nobody wants to live with 11 people in a house.
No,
right?
that's
And even for me, I have one house that is 8 rooms. That is the one that has the most turnovers. Even though it's the biggest house, we have a space, we have more bathrooms. It's just too many people. I think
hmm
7 is the sweetest spot. And what I arrived to is like if 7 rooms give me 2,000 net on cash flow, I'm going for that. And
Gotcha.
for most people with management, it has to be probably 8 rooms. But for me, because I'm self-managing, it's 7. So as long as each house underwrites for $1,800 to $2,000 a month net after everything, including capex and repair savings, I'm
hmm
good. I'm good to buy.
Are you doing 20% on CapEx?
I what?
How much are you doing for repairs and CapEx?
300, 300.
300. Okay.
I don't really do it in percentages.
Okay.
The reason I don't do percentages is because the repairs are standardized on pricing, right?
hmm
I could say 5% and save 250 when I know if I need 2 repairs a month, usually calling a handyman per repair is going to be at least 150 to 200,
Sure.
right? So I want a budget for 2 repairs a month. There's been a lot of months where we don't do anything.
All right.
And then one of my heaters die on Saturday. No, on Sunday at 5 a.m. The storm Saturday was the coldest day.
Right.
And I get like 10 calls from everybody like, Andres, I just woke up because I'm freezing. And I see
Oh,
the next message, and everybody in the house was up like, like that. I see the
yeah.
the inside the thermostat. It is 38 inside the house.
Oh.
And I was like,
Oh, no.
oh my God, like what am I supposed to do? And I
Right.
go outside and everything is covered in ice and snow. I was like,
I'm not gonna get there.
before the storm, we went to all the houses and we checked that everything was working fine.
Sure.
Right? We even have the temperature gun where you can point at a band and tell you how much heat air is
hmm
coming out.
Right.
And we found 2 houses where the air is supposed to come out at 90
hmm
degrees to heat the house, and they were coming at 60, they were coming at 55. So I know when the temperature drops below 35, it's not gonna be able to keep the house warm. So we were able
hmm
to fix those issues before the storm, and the machine died again.
Dang, man. Yeah,
Luckily,
that.
Andre,
it wasn't a big thing, right? It was a heat pump. Heat pumps are really bad for
Mhm.
cold weather.
Right.
So it had just frozen. So I told the guys, look, we still have water because that house last year the pipes froze. So grab some water, warm it up, and throw it around the condenser outside, and that made it come back. Right. Eventually it died again, but at least it was at 3 p.m. when I was able to bring a technician to fix the house, not like at 5 a.m.
Andre, so I wanted your opinion, kind of what mentioning, piggybacking off of what Steve mentioned. When you do your construction, do you think it's more beneficial to do the permanent walls where you have your construction crew go in and install the walls, or do you think it would be better to buy the modular walls just in case you end up getting shut down and then you can save those walls and then install them at another property? Or do you think the price is it worth the price spend a little bit more for the modular temporary walls, or do you do all on your projects just the wall installations like
Uh,
drywall?
go with regular drywall because you can also recycle drywall, and we've done it.
Oh, okay.
Really? Nice.
You just when you tear it out, tell the guys cut it by the studs, right? Take those
Oh,
sheets
okay.
with the paint and texture, take out the 2x4s, put them in the storage. When I build another of my houses, like how much do we have? Bring it back, and then you just patch those seams.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Okay.
It's not ideal though. If you don't have people who can do drywall well, just the drywall is fairly inexpensive. It's gonna be $300 more if you get shut down, right?
Got
And
it. Okay.
the idea of the modular walls is fine, but I think when you walk into the house, it doesn't give you the feel of a house,
I see. Okay.
right? When you walk into my houses, it's like, if I didn't put the numbers on the doors, you wouldn't know it's a co-living because the layout, I mean, you can see the videos online. I have a bunch of those on YouTube and on Instagram, right? Like the layout just flows naturally.
Got it. Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
So whenever okay, so you've got that aspect as far as like building it out like that. What I guess trying to think of the right way to ask this question. So when you're going through your construction, I guess like your preliminary construction on a 3-2, you kind of already know like where you're gonna lay this out and how it's gonna work, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's this great app. It's free. It's called Kubicasa.
hmm
What you do is you walk around the house and it gives you the floor plan.
Okay.
So you can
Okay.
play with the floor plan and then just get it ready for construction. Ideally, you want to work with a contractor that has experience in co-living because there's a bunch of things that you need to take into consideration, like the uh, a 3.2 that is 2,000 square feet may have a 3-ton AC unit, right?
Hmm.
That is not enough for 7 rooms. So you may need to add a 3.5 ton or a 4 ton. If you have a 2,500 square feet, just go for a 5 ton, and you have to replace the unit. It's not gonna be enough. Those little things, or where to get the electrical out from, because a lot of people think, oh, this living room is huge. We're gonna put 3 rooms in here. That breaker that powers the living room, it is designed to power 3 lamps, a TV, right? It's just a standard, maybe 10 to 15 amp breaker, maybe a 20 amp breaker, and
Right.
it doesn't have the 12 gauge electrical wire. It just have a 14. So that is not going to be enough to power 3 rooms that may have 3 gamers at the same time, plus electric heaters. So you gotta make sure, like, either I replace the breaker, or when I add those walls and I add the electrical, I need to tap those electric lines to a different breaker, or to a different part of the house that is not so that is not gonna overheat it,
Yeah, right.
right? Because then a lot of people having those problems because they wanted to chip out and save $300 by not going with a co-living contractor, and
Hmm.
now it's like, oh man, every time my breaker is exploding. How do I tell these stupid tenants to stop using the heater? Like, why are they always gaming? Like,
Because that's
that's
what they
that's
do.
that's not their problem, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that should have been your concern, right?
Right. You can't tell them how to live like that. No.
Exactly.
Nice. So what about so I know like some of the other stuff like egress and stuff like that. You have to have like certain ways for them to get in and out of the room. Is that right?
Yeah. So every room has to have a door and a
Hmm.
second egress.
Okay.
That usually means having a window, a workable window, where they
Mhm.
can, if there's a fire, they can open it and leave. Uh, there's a great area there. Like, for example, if you have a living room that doesn't have a window, but it has the door that goes to the patio,
Hmm.
you can enclose it. Technically, it is still a second egress because they
Okay.
can open it and go to the patio and they can escape, right?
Okay. Got
But
it.
you definitely want to have that. That is just, this is not only legal, it's moral because things can go wrong, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so are your properties mainly on the Dallas side of town or where are they at?
I'm mainly in Tarrant County.
Oh, really? Okay.
I usually say I'm in Fort Worth, but I only
Yeah.
have one in Fort Worth.
Okay. And what experience have you had with the city on that? Anything crazy on that?
Not in. I mean, technically it's Fort Worth. That's what I said. But in reality, I'm in Saginaw. I'm in Lake Worth. I'm in White
Okay.
Settlement. I'm in North
Mhm.
Richland Hills. I'm in Keller. Right.
Yeah.
The only one in Fort Worth I have is like by Hewlin. That's the only one that is actually Fort Worth. Fort Worth. Everybody else happens to be Ewells. Right. Arlington. Arlington. I have one in Grand Prairie. The only one that I had problems with was in Grand Prairie, and it
Okay.
was my second house, and that's because I bought it in an A neighborhood. The house was
Mhm.
worth $500,000.
Dang.
It had the best parking. We went on it. Like, I got it 0% seller finance that with 10,000 down. So it was a no-brainer.
Sure.
A great deal. But the neighbors was just non-stop torture. Since the first day they saw me walk in, because I don't say I'm the owner or nothing. I just go there with my jeans that are full of paint. I'm the contractor with the crew.
Sure. Sure.
Right? And then this guy comes, tries to speak in this white guy, is like knocking the door, tries to speak Spanish to me. I was like, I speak English a little bit. If you want to speak English, oh yeah, what are you doing here? Like, where's Steve, the owner, the seller?
Yeah.
And the seller actually happens to be a real estate investor. So I've done works for him in other houses,
Oh, wow.
right? So
Nice.
it's like, call him. And he's like, no, that's just a construction crew, man. Like, I sold the house to another investor. I said, okay, okay. And then, dude, his window, the window from his bedroom happens to give him vision to our house.
Oh, wow.
So every time we pull the trucks or the cars, we'd be like, and we usually work with my crew when it's my houses. I make them stay at the house and we work until 2 or 3 a.m. Nothing noisy, but if we're building beds, that we build the beds at those hours because we
Mhm.
don't have to do noise, right? So I keep them in rotation, so the service keeps going. It's 24 hours. We don't stop, and that allows us to finish in a week or 2 weeks for a project. But the guy was just like calling the police nonstop. Like, these guys are still like, the light is on. It's a construction crew. They're not supposed to be here. Police would come. Police would come. Code enforcement would come. It's like, we haven't done anything extra yet, man. Like, I talked with the neighbor. I called the police. Tried to report him. Like, I need to know his name. now pretending as I'm the owner, right?
Yeah.
They're harassing my construction crew. Like at this point, I think it's just being racist, right? Because I
Okay.
already talked with the guy. The guy knows I'm
Yeah.
the GC, right?
Right.
He just wanted to bitch about it. And then when the tenants moved, he was even worse. It was non-stop. He rallied the neighbors were alive the house. Like, it is a white neighborhood, right? And we have affordable housing people. We at that time we didn't have any white tenants. They're mostly black and Hispanic.
Okay.
And it was just like this car has a broken window with no mirror. We happen to have a guy, his window was broken and he had it covered with plastic. He was not bothering it. We didn't even use the street parking in there because we had a four-car garage and we parked the other cars in the back. Like it
Wow.
was already paved. We didn't add anything extra. That's why we bought
Sure.
it.
Sure.
And it was just non-stop. After that, the police told him to stop. Like, hey, you need to chill out. Like these guys haven't done anything wrong. And then the drugs call started. Like there's a lot of drug traffickers next to me.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, a different team would come, right? And then he said it was a illegal sober living. It was an illegal group home. And then eventually, I talked to my partner like a month later. It's like, that's why when we bought a house, we ran this scenario like this is gonna be a great midterm rental. Like we're not gonna be able to survive here, right? This guy
Yeah.
is just he
Right.
has nothing to lose.
Sure.
He's just an all mean guy. So
Yeah.
let's just pivot into a midterm rental. And we did that, and the house has been successful for almost 2 years now, right?
Oh my gosh.
And that's also why when you buy a house, you want to make sure that it's nothing crazy. Like we only took out one wall. It cost me $700 to
Hmm.
second the wall, to patch the drywall and patch the floor. And
Yeah.
it became a midterm rental,
Okay.
right?
And you guys were able to change tactics real quick with that.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. And is he
Andres.
still a problem or is he calmed down now?
He is, but the problem is that because co-living lives in a gray area, we could have
Right.
gotten shut down if they sent
Sure.
code enforcement, right? Because we are not
Hmm.
supposed to have more than five people unrelated in the house. And at that time, it was 7 rooms. We had five people, and in Grand Prairie, you can have five people.
Okay.
So when I invited code enforcement into the house, I was like, we have five people. Like the other spaces it is a gym and it's an office. Like I don't know what you're talking about. This is not a sober home. This is not a illegal group home. Like here are the background checks of all my tenants, which I'm not supposed to show you, but I'm willing to,
Right.
right? And they come down, they talk to the neighbor, and that's when just dude was not gonna lose.
He's not
Dude
gonna
was not
give
gonna
up.
lose. Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah.
Nice. Trey, did you have
Andres,
something, bro?
yeah, no, I was going to ask, when you're, say there's a large room and the window, say it's large enough to split in half with two different rooms and there's only one window. Do you ever do any exterior to where you add a window for a room, or do you just would consider that one room? Like, if you have to tear down brick and add a window to a room, do you ever do any kind of exterior construction like that on your rooms to make sure
You
both
know,
rooms have a window?
that is a great question. In the ones that I own, I wouldn't do it, but I have done it for
Okay.
clients because they want to do it. I think that is too much risk.
Okay.
I don't want to modify the exterior layout, especially when I know that the things can be shut down at any point, right?
Got it.
It depends where it's facing. If it's facing the outside of your neighbor that you already. Another thing, when I go to the houses before buying, I sit down in my car for like a day, buy three sandwiches, a cup of coffee, and I just see the neighbors because that is my main concern. Like, is this gonna be a problem? Because people just they are entitled. They like messing with people, right? Even though I'm doing nothing wrong. But
I
yeah,
see.
you can add a window for sure.
And I assume all the rooms need a window. Or is that something that needs to be there, or is it like a lower rate if there is not a window? Is like, what's your perspective on that?
I think we answered that one a little bit earlier. Legally, you are required to give them two egress exits.
Got it. Okay.
One of them is
Okay.
gonna be the main door, and the second one is gonna be either a window or can be a door that gives them access to the patio. But it has to
Got
give them access to the exterior of the house.
it. Okay.
So in case
Okay.
there is a fire or like somebody's trying to get into the room and hurt them, they can escape. And it has to be a workable window because I've seen people put windows that don't open. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that doesn't work. Like, you gotta make sure your windows work.
Okay. Okay.
Nice, man. Well, I mean, dude, thank you for doing this. That's a ton of information. So I guess like what are you've kind of alluded to it already. You're kind of starting to get into the whole you're working on your SOPs to get into the whole coaching aspect. Tell us about your school community and what you're doing there.
Yeah, so I started school community just to give back to people because I think that is very important, honestly. I was featured in the Bigger Pockets Rookie podcast about, I don't know, it was like May last year. And
Mhm.
after that, I just got floated with questions like the same questions I'm answering now,
No.
right? And over and over and over and over. And then at that point, I was like, I I can give you the basic answer, but that's not enough. Like it needs an in-depth definition, right? Otherwise, it's just like and I don't want to bring good bad operators into the market. So I had two paths. Either I do a bunch of YouTube videos and give it away for free, but at the same time I kind of want to have these longer conversations because if you see a video, it's not the same as having this suck, right? And Trey's been
Mhm.
in a couple of my calls where I hosted for 2 hours on Wednesday nights from 6 to 8. It's
Mhm.
I usually choose a topic like last yesterday was prior money partnerships, right? And I use the second screen to explain how I am doing it, right? This is what worked for me. Like take it, and I have a lot of experience in that, so that might work for you, right? And then it's just like an open Q&A where
Yeah.
people can come and ask. You know what's surprising about that, Steve? And I know you have gone through that because you have experience dealing with newer people. The more questions somebody asks you, the more they want to get you on the phone, the less likely they are to show up in the free calls.
That's it, dude. That's absolutely true. Yeah, they're assholes.
They're assholes. Everybody's assholes, right? And
They're
and then they don't
assholes.
listen. And you tell them the answer, and
Yeah.
they are gonna go research it again 5 times, and then it's
Yep.
still gonna be not enough.
Yeah, no, they've got they're over analyzing everything. Yes. I've done a lot of underwriting calls exactly like you're talking about. You drill home about don't do these things and they'll still do them or they won't do anything. One of the two. But yeah, I
And of course,
totally
at the end, it's everyone's choice, right? But
sure.
what I try to show is another perspective because my perspective is very different to the. It's not different, but I think most of the people who are doing co-living coaching or the people that you can find on YouTube, it is how to
Mhm.
do it with pad split, right?
Right. True.
I don't use pad split at all, and there's this misconception where everybody's telling you that management is heavy, management is hard because those same people happen to have property management companies. So it is in their
Right.
benefit and
Hmm.
right that they can help you buy the house, they can help you renovate it, and then they manage it. So they triple dip on all of that.
Right.
That
And
was going to be my next question for you, Andres. Is what is your opinion on being on and off? You operate off of pad split, and why is that? So, is it the 8% that they charge just isn't worth, their value of what they provide? Is it easier just to list it on Facebook for free and get tenants? Is that kind of the main reason? Is that they're taking 8% essentially for something that you can do yourself?
I've never done Paxly, man. I don't know what you meant by that. I'm on Paxly too.
Oh, you are on pad split.
No,
I
I'm
thought
not.
you
I'm
weren't on
not.
pad.
I'm not. I'm not. Not.
Oh, you're not on pad split.
I'm not. I have a
Okay,
few friends, but
that's what I was going to ask you is, do you choose not to be on pad split because their 8% you feel is too high for what they provide? Like, essentially, you can do your own advertising for the rooms to save that 8% since they don't manage. They just, list and help list and advertise. Is that kind of the reason you've decided to not be on pad split?
mm, not really. At the beginning, I was gonna go with Pat Split, and on my first property, the guy who wanted to help me on board, he told me a bunch of things that didn't make sense. So I paid for a lawyer to have a consultation, and I confirmed my suspicion. And
Hmm.
the house that I turned into an A3, he wanted me to turn it into an 11.5,
Dang.
right? And at that point, I was totally new to being an owner. I was just a wholesaler, but it didn't feel right. And his contractors were like, "Yes, we can do this, we can do that." I was like, mm, "It's
You
just that
can, but
follow your gut, right? Follow your gut, and then you have to backtrack your what do you want to do, Trey? Like for example, for me, it's like, how can I get out of the restaurant? How can I stop being a waiter and achieve $10,000 a month in cash flow? So that means the fastest way would be buying a house and having all the net coming to me, $2,000 per house, right? And I need 5 houses. But that means that I have to invest all the money, which I don't have. So if I don't have the money and I need to bring a private money partner, which I'm gonna split it half and half, that means I need to have 10 houses, right? At that point, I start talking with a lot of passive investors, and their portfolio is very unstable, and mainly it's because they allow way too much turnover, right? There's nothing tying up a tenant. Like the maximum you can tie them up for is 3 months, if I am going to scale quickly, I need to make sure that I buy the house, I rehab, I get it full, and then I jump into the next one. I jump into the next one, right? Because I still had, at that point, I was working 40, 50 hours a week on the restaurant still. So I had to do all of that. So I was like, if tenant acquisition is going to be my bottleneck, I need to get rid of that. And Passplate is not going to help me with it. So I had to develop my own system on how to acquire tenants.
Got it.
I
Okay.
think you were on that talk last week, Trey, where I explained why I use Facebook Marketplace and how I had that system.
You mentioned it the one 2 weeks ago to where you said your best tenants did come from Facebook Marketplace, from the one 2 weeks ago. So that's why I wanted to ask is it essentially you're saving 8% for you can fill in vacancies yourself instead of paying 8% to have them do it and have better tenant quality yourself.
Mm,
Essentially, I would assume is kind of why you're not on Pad Split because you can list it yourself and manage it and get it filled.
no, no,
Just to
no.
be,
Yes, but again, you have to. I would suggest you to find where do you want to be. What's your target goal? And your target goal can be like, I want to make $100,000 a month. That's honest. That's everybody wants to make $1 million a day, right? But honestly, like, what is your goal? Do you want to leave your W-2? Okay, how much money do you need a month to survive?
it,
Like that you can
yeah,
go running every day, and you get to that number and just back engineer it. And that's how I arrived to like the fastest way for me to raise money right now is to buy 10 houses or get to 10 houses that net 2000 a month where I split the half of the house with my PMPs because then I don't have to pay them back. The house is going to pay them back in 5 to 7 years, right? And I still get to keep that cash flow. But that means that I don't have enough room to bring a property management company, right? So also I want my income to be predictable. One of the things I don't like about Pasley is like you have to underwrite at 80, 85% occupancy. That is not predictable enough for me. I want to know that if the house is supposed to net 2000 a month, I will net 2000 a month every month, right? And I've
I
been
see.
doing it now for 2 years and a half, where all my houses net what they are supposed to net. So I like the predictable income because that allowed me to like go to my job, be like, today's my last day, boss. I'm out, going back to the streets. That allowed me, like I've been saying, I took a vacation since November until like 2 weeks ago, right? I didn't have to pick up the phone. My tenants were taken care of by the person that I hired, right? I just got the calls like, hey, it's time to pay the partners, time to do the accounting. If I want right now with the money that I make, I can move to another country and survive peacefully.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it to arrive there so fast because it's been 18 months. I thought it was gonna take me 5 years, and it's kind of like thrown me off. Like I was talking to Stephen. Oh my God, I forgot his name. This guy, to Rob at the meetup. Like I'm kind of lost, man. Like I don't know what to do. Right? I mean, I don't have enough money to go buy the car that I want, right? I don't have, but the cash flow is enough to make me survive, and to me, that's very important. So
Huge.
I would suggest you try to find the number that you want, back engineer it, and make your plan, right? Like I need this amount, I need this, and then go from there and see if Passplay is a good fit for you or not. Like
I see.
managing outside of Passplay is not that hard. Like I said, the hardest part is gonna be marketing, but I'm already giving out for free all the resources that I have. Like you can go back to the school community again. There's one guy who just posted yesterday. We had a consultation on Tuesday. He has 4 rooms empty for 2 months, right? And he has one house that is surrounded by 3 houses that I own that I've gotten full in a week. And we tweaked some things, and his listing went from getting 49 clicks a week to 300 in 24 hours. He already rented 2 rooms in 2 days.
Oh man. Okay.
And it's because I have spent hundreds of hours doing that, developing like what works on Facebook Marketplace, what doesn't work on it, because that's my main source, and that could be the bottleneck. If as a business owner, I'm in charge of bringing the money into the business, into the company, and that means making sure that I bring tenants and that they stay at the house.
For
Have you
your
seen?
for the properties that you buy, how do you source your deals? Is it MLS? Do you do outbound marketing, inbound marketing to attract sellers?
At the beginning, yes, it was. Hi, oh, sorry, my wife just walked in. At the beginning, yes, I was doing that because I was still wholesaling, right?
Okay.
So I had access to that, to my CRM. My CRM was still full. I was a lot of wholesalers bring me deals to close. I was like, hey, I'm gonna buy that one. I will give you the fee because I'm gonna get the fee later when I buy the house, but let's not sell it. We'll keep it. After the fourth one, maybe the fourth, between 4 and 5, I just stopped totally doing wholesaling because it was taking my time apart from the systems that I want to develop for co-living. So I just started reaching out to wholesalers like, this is my buy box. right? Who needs help in closing? Or like I see a deal and I just go and buy it. But for that, if you're gonna use private money, you need to have the private money ready to go. Like you need to have those relationships built where like, hey, let's say Steve is gonna be your private money partner, right? Hey, Steve, uh, this deal just got into in my lap, right? This is the entry fee, or this is what it's gonna cost. I'm gonna walk you tomorrow. Just wanted to let you know that this so far this is a really good one. So I'm gonna go tomorrow to make the layout, and I'll give you the underwriting by tomorrow at noon. And then Steve
Okay.
knows like, okay, that's a hot lead, right? We're ready. Like, because if Steve is the money guy, he needs to have the money ready to wire the EMD, so you can separate the deal, and another investor can is not gonna buy it from the wholesaler.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and be okay paying the wholesalers, man. Like that's a tough job.
It is.
Of course,
We've
you don't have
all-
to pay them what they want. You have to negotiate it, right?
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. Because they're gonna try to get every cent they can.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's coming from a wholesaler. Like I was shooting for
Absolutely.
20,000, and I would end up with $500 or something. And it is what it is. It's
We've
part of
all been
business.
there, man. We've all been there. So let me ask you this, man. What's the future of pad split in your opinion? Do you think that cities are going to lessen the regulations and open it up, or do you think it's going to be as restrictive or more than it is now?
That's uh, that's the $1 million question, Steve.
I know it, buddy. That's why I'm asking the man.
I think I honestly I don't want to sound not optimistic, but I don't think anything is going to change.
Okay.
It's going to take a long time, like 5 to 10 years. So eventually, but by then AI is going to take over, and we're going to be in universal basic income, right?
Okay.
There's way too many things coming that it's really like we're walking in times that we don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
So what
Right.
what I tell investors, like, don't worry about that, right? Don't worry about getting shut down. Just worry about not getting caught, right? And what that means is buying the right property in the right location with the right parking. All my tenants have cars.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have one tenant with no car,
Hmm.
right? And my house is like 2 blocks away from Walmart. She works at Walmart, and it's because her car got broken down. Like she had a car when she came to the house, but it's been a year she hasn't bought a new car.
Hmm.
We have the parking to support that, right? And that's why my tenants stay. I don't really believe on the model of not having cars in Texas. All of you live in Texas. Uh, the tenants that don't have cars, it's either momentarily. So once they get a car, they're gonna move out if you don't have
Hmm.
parking, right? Or if they don't have a car for a long period of time, that's probably not the best tenant that I want to have.
Sure.
So just
Is that
don't
typically a
let that
question or?
don't let that fear shut down your business. Just make sure that
Sure.
you can pivot and just move on.
The
I,
returns would probably be higher if it remained kind of in this legal gray area, because then institutional investors wouldn't get involved. Wouldn't you agree? The returns would go down. Like same thing with short-term rentals, right? Like Airbnb, how that you have institutional lenders that lend on it because it's such a gray area. The returns would probably go down, I would assume, right? If it were regulated and accepted, because a lot of the big players would then get into the game.
you know, my understanding of institutional investors is like they like very safe things. Even for long-term rentals, they don't even buy a house that is before 1980, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
So like they play way too safe with their money, and that's their job, right? To protect people's money. So they would never get into this business even if it's allowed, because we're seeing this is a good return, but you want to know a really good return? RV parks, commercial buildings.
Yeah.
That's
Multi.
my next step.
Hmm.
Hmm. So
When you
I
they
bust
see.
can go into that.
you bust into that, man, let me know because that's what I'm working. I've got all of my underwriting ticked and tied on that stuff right now. I've been
You know what's a
underwriting
really good return to, Steve? Marinas.
marinas.
Marinas. Like this guy
Yeah.
was telling, I met him at a meetup, and he was talking about marinas, like he's getting like 40%. I was like, holy fuck.
What?
And he's like, I don't do anything. I have one guy who takes care of the port, and just people pay me a fee to park their stuff
They're
there.
both. Yeah.
And I
Well,
was like, huh,
until you get an ice storm and it collapses all of your your awnings.
maybe I'm not a
No,
book guy, I don't
no,
know, but
no,
uh, it sounded
no, and
very
that's
interesting.
that it is, man. It really is. That well, maybe that's the next phone call or the next Zoom we do is Marie.
Yeah. And it's also because you want to acquire resources that are not renewable, right?
Right.
Like buying land or buying a marina. Like If this is the only marina in the next
Yeah, if you're the only
city,
gas on the lake, man, you're gonna make money. There's no doubt.
exactly, you're the only
Yeah,
guys in the lake, yeah, you'll make
that's
money.
it, buddy. For sure. Well, listen, dude, thank you so much for doing this. We love it. Trey, thanks for, all of your questions. Troy, if you've got any questions, bud, obviously speak up now or forever hold your peace, brother. But for real, man, thank you for doing this. This was awesome.
I know Troy has a question. He's just being shy.
I
Come on,
promise
Troy.
you, man. Come on, Troy.
He's cutting down his lawn right now, that's why. He's mowing his grass. Troy, are you there?
Maybe not.
No, maybe not, man.
That's
It's
all
a
right.
bot, man.
That's all right. It's all right. We'll get Troy at the next meetup, and we'll figure out what questions he's got.
I have one bot in my meetups. He comes every week, and I know it's another investor.
Really
Yeah, I backtracked the email, and
nice.
and I was like, it's another coach and another company. I was like, like just show up and
Wow,
put your face. Like it's okay, like we're not like I
man.
already said, I'm not gonna jump into the guru scene, right?
Sure.
I may sell some courses like all the contracts on information that like to fast track you, but it's not gonna be like I'm not gonna be the next Pace or the next Sam Weir. Like that's not my
Sure,
thing.
sure.
I don't sell well. Yeah.
I don't believe that. Nice, man. Well, again, man, thanks for doing this.